Yo, what's up? It's your boy Currency 365. Hope you guys are doing well. Legends never die, they stay in our hearts. If you want to support us, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also you can come down here and hit the join button under the video or in our channel section. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/currency365. And we also have Cash App and also PayPal for support if you want to sow some seeds. Peace out. God bless. Enjoy the video and keep the movement going. Legends. Bye.
If you've listened to our spaces before, obviously they're focused in Japan first, but they've already had some work with the Vios and, Akashi and things like that in Indonesia, Singapore, all these different countries, Taiwan. So that's really kind of positive to me that they're continuing to try to focus on expanding in different countries. And I thought it was interesting that Korea was kind of brought up twice with Neopin and then Kana Labs. That was kind of like the focus. So I thought that was cool that they're pushing to get into Korea.
Yeah, no, that Neopin is super cool. A quick question as well, Jasmy, US. Did my Biomedica comment come through prior? I just want to make sure. Either.
No, go ahead and say that again.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry, yeah, I couldn't tell when I got cut out. So I was just mentioning before in regards to like the lockup. They did announce that Biomedica partnership where they're specifically using JasmyCoin, right? It was named in the article, which is pretty substantial considering they never do that. But that, at least that sets a legal precedent. And even Hara kind of alluded to, we went through the checks and the marks and the balances to say, yes, we can use the coin for this specific company use case. So at least we can do that moving forward in 2024 without too much probably of hurdles than they faced originally. And also, I noticed in one of the deployer wallets 3 months ago, they moved some JasmyCoin back into the deployer from Coinbase. And they recently did it again 2 weeks ago. I imagine the first one was a test. The second one, maybe for a particular reason, just being that the amount was, the first one was 123, right? That's just like a classic test. And then the other one was 198 in decimal places, which I imagine is for a specific reason. Obviously, 198. I think the community might be upset if that's the if that's the lockup. But just something I noticed and wanted to kind of call out, that it does seem in the background, at least things are moving that way. And I think that's one of the issues with trying to be the first, ahead of the curve kind of ideas, right? The risk of being ahead of the curve is you were on the wrong lane. It went the wrong way. It didn't go where you thought it was going to go, right? That's how you make the biggest money, is you take the biggest bets. And obviously with Jasmy, there's risk that they don't communicate these things. And if they're communicated down the road, then you win. If they're not, you lose. But and sorry, I got sidetracked there. I just wanted to bring that up. And then the Neopin is super great. I think I made a post about that when that happened as well. And they're actually partnered with the same, or Neopin as a company is run by the same people that made Lies of P, and they also do a bunch of Korean video games. So.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, JB. And yeah, I was looking more on this press release, and I thought it was cool that they're focusing on DeFi products. So a lot of RWA, STO based on data monetization. They're talking about launching DeFi services and getting their market share increased in Japan. So their Japanese service is planning to be released in 2024. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing. Again, we've talked about these different partnerships like now nodes in the past, these things where they're starting to really, trying to get developers and people to build on their blockchain. That's just the thing, is like we're piecing this all together, but it's so secretive. We don't get any info. And I'm really looking forward to actually seeing the finished product, because it's like there's so much going on behind the scenes. And like Kerr Finance said, like 100% when they're quiet like this, like every time in the past they've been doing some stuff that's like pretty important. So I'm kind of waiting for the roadmap to drop. I'm waiting for, clarification with the lockup and things like that. But Kurt, what was your last video about? Do you want to kind of talk about that? Because I thought that was a little interesting, and some of the info that came out related before that you pieced together, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that briefly, kind of in a nutshell, was covering Saudi Aramco partnering with SBI and the links of SBI holdings back to SoftBank and Masanobu Yoshida, who is the MY of Jasmy, as well as current SBI. And there's something in there, I think, with the bank, the SMBC. I think somehow they were tied in there. Anyway, the whole point of that video was that there's kind of a spider web behind the scenes that ties back into their various consortiums that they're a part of through SBI and through Saudi Aramco. And Saudi Aramco, for anybody who doesn't know, is the government-run oil company of Saudi Arabia that is one of the top three, I think, largest companies in the entire world. Billion/trillion-dollar company, on par with like a Walmart or whoever else may be at the very top, like an Apple, etc. And the point is with Saudi Aramco that they are a disruptor, and they have various funds that they invest into. You can find that through their website. Some of them are technology. Some stuff on the blockchain side they've done before, but it's been kind of sporadic. I would say they've maybe like dipped a toe in the water, put it that way. They haven't made anything substantial. And what was interesting was the various ties with SBI and wanting to do business in the Middle East. And then I think even that Neopin partnership mentioned something about the Middle East as well. And so the point is, where it could go is anybody's guess. But Saudi Aramco has just a ton of money, and they're looking for places to put it. Put it that way. And so in the video, I had mentioned that they had started Live Golf, which is a competitor to the PGA Tour, and they were basically poaching players off of the PGA Tour because they were saying, "Hey, you come over here to Live Golf, we'll pay you, a 5-10 times what you normally make." And so for a player, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you go over there? You still play golf and you make way more money, right? And so the PGA Tour got into a lawsuit with Live Golf where they were suing them, but the problem was that their reserves, they had something like, it was like 1 billion in the bank to fight it for the court costs, and Live Golf had like $600 billion in the bank. And so they have elected to attempt to join them, and I don't know where this is currently at, because there were a few hurdles with this of joining the leagues together. But the whole point is that the power of Saudi Aramco is massive to be a huge disruptor. And so, I mean, this is really on par with almost like the Bitcoin ETF idea with like a BlackRock getting into Bitcoin. If Saudi Aramco really full force put some money into blockchain or crypto, it could completely change everything, and they could do it very fast because in a country like Saudi Arabia that's a dictatorship, they don't have all the hurdles and red tape, for example, that we have here in the U.S. that we can't get anything done. Well, they can do it all immediately, right? So I guess that's a perk of a dictatorship, is that they can do something like that. The other thing with that is that because they are the government-run oil company, that ties into the crown prince and the whole royal family and all that stuff. So where Jasmy comes in is through those ties in the spider web back through SBI, et cetera. And could they expand further somewhere like that? Yeah, they could. So there's at least a path there that may exist if they choose to pursue it.
Yeah, no, right on, Kirk. And to me, I think what's important too is that a lot of these partnerships that they're making are focusing on, or at least mentioning, the Middle East, kind of like what you just said. So it seems like Jasmy is kind of in the realm of expanding in that area as well. So to me, that's a good thing, just because it makes sense. If you're looking at, the blockchain PCs and the work they've done with Akashi and Avita, they're already trying to get into India and Indonesia, right? If they could make that push to get into Saudi Arabia, get that Saudi oil money, that'd be a big game changer for sure. But yeah, something else I wanted to talk about too was the ecosystem, right? We kind of touched about it briefly, but I think what's going to be big this year to look out for in the roadmap, and just from Jasmy as a whole, is JasmyChain and then their super wallet. So I'm just pulling up. It's on. If you want to follow along or ever look up the press release, it's just Google Jasmy and JasmyChain and go on their Medium page. That's what I'm pulling up right now. But basically, the background of JasmyChain is that they are building an Ethereum-based layer two, right? A layer two solution to enhance Jasmy's scalability. And so right after that, they basically said, well, why? This is from the team. It says that we anticipate rapid growth in the number of data storage users, leading to a significant increase in data types and volumes, right? So it's not only going to form a vast economic field, but it will allow Jasmy to price personal data through a suitable reward system. There we go, right? This is from their Medium post a little while ago, but it really ties into the idea of democratizing data, utilizing DD coin as an incentive to, really incentivize users and their data. But, the fact that they're still posting and saying, they're anticipating this rapid growth, that's what we haven't seen yet, obviously. It's what we're waiting for. But, they keep making these posts that saying, hey, it's coming, it's coming. And I do believe that it's coming. I think still we are early in that they are piecing everything together. We need that clarity and communication, but I really do think it's kind of coming together behind the scenes. So going on with that, right, we've got their layer two solution. Um, they're saying that the features, right, the features of JasmyChain will um, bu- 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 it'll optimize data interaction experience and completely ensure data ownership, right? So you own your own data. So here are some of the design features of JasmyChain. It says that one, it's an account abstraction supporting rollup of layer two. There's a Web3 operating system integrated with Jasmy's AI engine, right? That's really big too, their AI engine for Platinum data. Precise services based on DID, right? Digital identity and user data. And then they have a section down here about how JasmyChain can further democratize data. So, really, the big thing here is that they're expecting rapid increase of data, personal data lockers, and a need to, interact and monetize that data. But on traditional Ethereum based tokens, that's not going to work if they're working with a large volume of data, right? It's similar to the idea of Polygon, right? Why they went layer two. It's kind of like the same idea. They need that scalability for their ecosystem. So this is kind of like Hara's baby. And if you look into JasmyChain, it's basically Hara's taking over that, and he's also taking over Jasmy Labs, which is more or less the super wallet, which will be a part of this ecosystem. So it's interesting because we've talked about this before, how Hara could have potentially been almost hindered in the past to not be able to work on this because of the management buyout and things like that. But since now the actual management is the like holding company of Jasmy, and we got rid of Bellwood and all that stuff. Now it seems like Hara has that freedom to actually pursue this when he probably didn't have that option in the past, right? He would have had to work with other people or entities. So for me, that's really good. It just shows their commitment to really what they've been talking about. And this is what we need to see executed this year. But I'm sure this will be focused on the roadmap. It really has to be at this point. This is the next big thing. So, JB, Kerr, Rob, what do you guys think? Or what are your expectations with Jasmine Chain?
I was just gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this. Didn't the idea too, when he switched and Jasmy Labs is gonna come up with a Jasmy change for the data, they're also gonna make it so the actual Jasmy token is more integrated, and it'll actually create even more valuable to the Jasmy token, where the original idea on centrality it just represented value from the data, where now it's going to be integrated and it's actually going to make it more valuable. Like you can move your coins over the chain. They're not going to have any extra coins. They're not minting more coins. But the way the new chain is supposed to work with the data democracy, it's actually going to add value to the Jasmine coin because it's going to be used. Therefore, more of it's going to end up being locked up.
Yeah, that's true. So the entire point of the Jasmy chain is for higher throughput and to be cheaper transactions, right? So where they previously, or at least where Hara said this was an issue, was with Transcosmos in particular, that it's basically just not efficient enough where it is. And where it is currently, there is no utility. There's zero. There's none. You can't stake it. You can't do anything with it. You can't do any governance. There's nothing to do, right? So with the Jasmy chain, if you were able to put your coins on the Jasmy chain, theoretically you could secure the network, you could vote on governance, you could do all these things, right? That's where that increased value comes in. So yes, you're right, Rob, but currently right now, we're not a meme coin, but we have no utility, right? If we have utility, that adds a heck of a lot more value to any project, and it would definitely do that with Jasmy.
Yeah, one thing I'm interested in with the Jasmy chain is really seeing one how it works. I think in the article they mentioned they're using like account abstraction. I made a post on it that's a little bit like more technical that just like talks about it like just at a high level. But it's definitely different than the current paradigm that they're currently built on. Just as Kerr was alluding to, like there really can't be utility on the Ethereum, and it's something that's holding us back. That it's nice that we're moving forward from. I'm also interested to see the dynamic of when that happens, being that it's Hara's company. Maybe then we get a marketer, and maybe he just fully takes over into Jasmy Labs, because something that it shows to me is, and I hope this isn't the case, that he's going to be working two ends, right? He's going to be doing Jasmy Labs on top of having to do whatever he's currently doing for Jasmy Inc., which is like legality stuff. I posted a tweet that said that mentioned, it's not a big country, but we're legally approved in Estonia. So clearly there's been like hurdles in like the legal stuff. We've seen the patents, all of that. I'm wondering if this is a phase that says, okay, Hara's done what he needs to do. Now he can go be the Sato of Jasmy.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really valid, and he's just got to execute. I think we're being very transparent and honest about where we're at right now with the project, and it's just because we want you guys to be informed. And I get messages all the time about, oh well, what about the lockup, what about how much is the number going to be? We don't know yet, frankly, and I wish I could give some more info, but I assume all of this is going to be discussed or at least touched upon in the roadmap. And I'm hoping, I've reached out to Hara too, that we could maybe do another AMA type of setting. It doesn't even have to be like a space, because, well, it's kind of difficult for him to talk in English, and a lot of things get kind of lost in translation, or there's more questions often afterwards than there were before. So something like a Discord AMA, I think, would be good to do after the release of the roadmap, so we could clarify, what's the next steps and what actions they're taking to fulfill them. I'm probably beating a dead horse now, but really, this is the year where things have to come together, and they really need to start, showing the utility. I'm sure that's kind of what Binance is waiting for, right? If we're talking about the innovation zone, they're probably waiting for, okay, where's the wallet? Where's JasmyCoin? How's this going to work, right? Um, and like Kerr said, we're not a meme coin, but we're kind of like we're in purgatory almost, right? We're waiting for the actual utility to come through. But to a valid point, it doesn't matter if we're in a full-fledged bull market and money inflow is coming in like crazy. Utility won't even matter for Jasmy. If everything's pumping and the money inflow's coming in, we're going to go up regardless. But I invested in this project because of the management, because of the idea that was behind it, and I really do think they're going to follow through. But this is the year that at least from my end, I'm planning on pushing them. Like, hey, how are we going to get there? Because it's all of us. It's our reputations. It's the community. We want everyone to succeed, and we can't be ambassadors, or we can't try to participate without some type of communication, or something given to us. So my goal is to keep reaching out to Hara. He has responded to me in the past, but obviously I'm sure they're working on this roadmap now. But that's what we got to wait for. We just got to see what's on the roadmap, and this is the year where they really got to piece everything together. I'm still bullish. I'm not concerned about the team or the project. I just think that they really need to do a better job with marketing and communicating. And we can't say it enough, but here we are again. And I think that's why we've kind of just been a little more quiet too. One, just because things have slowed down the holidays, and two, we just don't know what their goal is. So hopefully they're working hard behind the scenes, but yeah, that's the next step. Just got to get that roadmap. And my next space was probably going to plan on doing like a roadmap deep dive, seeing what's on there, and then seeing, if we can set up something like a Discord AMA with Hara to maybe answer any questions after that.
On a side note, the Q4 lockup, I get a little worried at times that people are going to expect too much too soon. None of us know anything about the Q4 lockup other than what Harrow has said in past AMAs. And he said the Q4 lockup is around the data democracy and companies wanting access to the data, and it's how they're going to build value in Jasmy. The problem with that and it not being, they've never said it's going to be staking, and I'm not saying they won't come out with staking in the future, but staking, you could instantly get a whole bunch of coins locked up all at once. The way they're planning on doing it, it depends on how much data they have already. And we don't know. We don't know how much data they're sitting on because there has to be enough data from the beginning for companies to want to pay for that data. And there's huge, huge money in data. You should see what they charge Twitter companies that want access to Twitter's data. But from everything they've told us in the past 2 years, the more people who interact in the Jasmy ecosystem through the Super Wallet, the more data they're going to have available to buy and sell. So if they Q4 they start doing the lockup and allowing companies to have access to the data, I don't know how much data they have. I don't know how many companies are going to be interested right at the bat. I feel like the lockup is going to be a slower build. It's not going to be a mic drop. Hopefully I'm wrong on that. Maybe all of a sudden with the new Jasmy chain, they can have staking and to secure the network and all that fun stuff. But everything he has said in the past was it's going to be based around the data democracy, and companies who want access to the data are going to have to lock up coins. So how much staking is going to happen in Q4 is going to be dependent on how much data they already have. And I don't know how much data they already have if the super wallet hasn't been out in mass production and having hundreds of thousands of people using it. So I think they are going to probably start the lockup in Q4. I'm not 100% sure what their rates they're going to charge and how many companies are going to be interested in it at the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Rob. And if you're on crypto Twitter a lot, you definitely need to be careful, because there was a lot of hype I noticed leading up to the Binance monitoring zone, kind of like not decision, but like whenever they reassess whatever coins are in there, it just somehow spread that, like, oh, Jasmy's going to get off the monitoring zone, and I was thinking, like, no, that's definitely not the case. We didn't get any information saying that was going to happen or not. So just be wary about things like that if there's a lot of hype and you haven't heard from the official team, right? Especially in terms of investing. If you're trying to invest around something like that, like, you just got to be careful, because unless you're hearing from the official team, you'll definitely see a lot of hype. And same thing with the lockup, right? I've seen a lot of numbers regarding the lockup. We don't know, and I would agree with Rob. I would assume that process is probably slow and steady, kind of like a gradual build up once they get companies onboarding. So just to protect yourself, I think that's important to make sure. Again, the major sources for Jasmy are Hara, the CFO, and then the Jasmy Management Twitter account. I would say those are the two guarantee, like, here's what's for sure going to happen when they tweet. Those are the two sources of info you want to follow. But I've just been reading some of the comments too from people in here today. I just want to say again, big shout out to our community in Jasmy. Whether you're bullish, whether you're bearish, whether you make videos, tweet tweet about it, whether you critique it or like it. I think we really do have one of the best crypto communities out there, and there's just so many people who I've seen throughout, like, the last 2 years, who have stuck around, who really believe in this project. And I still do too. I don't want to sound bearish, but I think we're being realistic about the next steps that Jasmy needs to take to make this a reality. I still believe in the project. I believe in the team, but now's the time. We're leading up to the ETFs with Bitcoin. We're leading up to the halving. We want to make sure we're all in a position to succeed, because I've got money in this. I know everyone else does, and at the end of the day, we want to make some money, right? We want the project to succeed, but we all want to succeed. And again, just want to say thank you to the community. There's some good sources of info out there too. If you're really into TA, I'd say Fresh Fontana. He's great to take a look at. Also, Not of Works. I've learned a lot from him and what he's been doing for charting. So, there's lots of knowledge out there in this community. If you're wanting to learn about TA, if you're wanting to learn about Jasmy, definitely just search on Twitter. There's lots of good knowledge. But for now, this was kind of what I wanted to cover today. Just some of those recent partnerships with, like, Neopen and Kano Labs, and then the ecosystem going forward. I think we're going to be looking forward to that roadmap probably. I would hope by the first week of February, or if not, then probably sometime in February it will be released. You got to keep in mind, again, if you're new to this, that Japan's quarter 4 is currently ongoing. I believe their quarter 1 doesn't start until April of this year for the new year. So that will also kind of come with the token lockup details if they're not on the roadmap. So if you're wondering about the lockup, you might need to wait until April if it's not talked about on the roadmap before. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I think the community as a whole is awesome. I think there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of good stuff out there that just reaffirms that Jasmy's a legitimate project, but there needs to be a little more to push it to get to the finish line, right? We need to have that marketing, we need to have that communication, we just need to have those measurable steps to really execute. And we've talked about this so much. The execution is now the point for Jasmy. And for 2024, I think they're going to follow through. Absolutely. I think they're going to definitely move forward. And I'm looking forward to it, because this is a time really where we should see these actions take place. So, unless you guys want to talk about anything else, we could close out, and then probably I'm going to plan my next space around the release of the roadmap so we can really go into deep diving in there. And yeah, I'm going to reach out to Hara too when that happens, to hopefully set up an AMA so we can talk about it too.
No, I think I'm good. I had to go do some more snow blowing. I'll just say this. If between now and April they release their Jasmy chain and they release the super wallet and they both perform as advertised, that could change our whole conversations overnight. It's crypto.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Rob. I agree with you 100%. And I would say, I think what I would like to see in 2024 is simply let's start getting some of these big rocks done. Let's see the chain. Let's see the super wallet. Let's do the business lockup, whatever that's going to look like. People want to see those things, right? Let's make it a point to get out of the innovation zone. Let's add a tab to the website to pose some blockchain stats, right? Um, Even right now, that Jasmy Global site is supposedly down again. Let's get rid of all these other BS websites, right? We don't need like 10 websites. We need one. Tell the community if you're going to take one down. Say, hey, we're sunsetting Jasmy Global. They really need to communicate better, right? And I think I know a lot of this comes from my videos because I've talked about it a lot. But communication, marketing, at some point, people get just tired of the excuses, right? I mean, get your house in order, get your product together, get it out there. Use the ambassador program for what it's worth. Take advantage of people in the community that are here who want to see Jasmy succeed and want to see it do well. Take advantage of their expertise. Use the community for what it is, right? I would like to see them step up, and I don't think they've done that yet. So hopefully this is the year.
Yeah, well said, Kerr. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think everyone kind of just summarized everything pretty great. I look forward to the next space, I guess, then when the roadmap hopefully is released, and maybe we'll be lucky and get a horror AMA between then. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but it was nice talking to you guys. It's been a while, so my plan is, if not before the roadmap, might be a little break before the next space, just because news wise it's been a little slow. But my plan is to try to hold these spaces again, like maybe two times a month, something like that, just to keep everyone informed, especially if there's some new developments regarding the ecosystem. That's, I think, really the important thing to look forward to. And once that kind of goes in place, and once we get those details to the lockup, like if those numbers are bigger than expected, that could be really, really bullish. And I think long term, for this project, I think it will be definitely something that they will need to lock up a lot of tokens. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the new year. I'm looking forward to having the ETFs. Really, just a bullish market. And if you're looking at different projects, right? I think the big one, Kerr, that you mentioned before, Doge, right, or XRP. If you've looking at the rise of parabolic moves other tokens have done with like 100 billion supply, I'm confident that Jasmy can move, and when it will move, it will definitely move. We just got to wait, be patient, and just let's see where we go from here. But I was just glad to catch up with you guys, and hope everyone has a happy new year, had a good holiday season, and yeah, looking forward to kind of piecing this together this coming year. So we'll catch up after the roadmap release, and we'll talk then.